I want to be able to like install sound effects for my body, so that way, like when I'm like running or something, and like my balls are bouncing around, I just want it to like sound like the bells of Notre Dame.
The bells of Notre Dame.
So you want
just me running past in the background. The symphony of like loud ass bells.
You want to be like Scratchman Apu from One Piece. That's what you want to be. You want to be a sound fan.
I watch good anime, so I don't know who that is.
Oh, how dare you?
I tried to get into One Piece. I can't stand the art style of One Piece.
I also watch good anime, which is why I don't watch anime.
Oh! The shade.
Well, I'm actually gonna peace out, guys. Andrew's gonna.
I thought the big A on your shirt was for anime, but now I see that it was just for asshole.
I will say this with One Piece. They do change animation styles as the series progresses.
I mean,
like the animation style right now.
I couldn't get into One Piece because of the animation style, and I couldn't get into Bleach because of the story.
Yeah,
I couldn't get into Bleach because it like really made my asshole feel weird, and I was just like, never again.
You got to get the anal bleach. The anal bleach.
Wrong bleach.
Not
Wrong bleach.
Clorox blend.
Fuck. On that amazing note, ladies, gentlemen,
Well, biscuits are burning.
You know what time it is. You know what time it is. You know what time it is. You know
Yes, I have a
eye drops from a brown
it's
eye.
time for you to receive another dose from the dispensary of despair. It is time to take some taint. It is time to embrace your madness and join us at the Black Tower. That's right. We are the Black Tower Podcast. We are a Wheel of Time podcast. And we're here for another installment, for another tainty treatment.
Yeah. And after 3 episodes of doing a lot of TV show talk, in direct contrast to the shirt I'm wearing, which is one of the TV show shirts, we're taking it back to the books.
Going back to the books, baby.
Which some of you will definitely, as per comment sections we have, say, thank God. Others of you will say, okay, that's fantastic. I listen either way.
And some of you will be like, no, fuck you. Go back to the TV show. It's the only thing I care about. Yeah. In which case, okay, just hold on. We'll get there.
But you know, one of the only things I care about is who the fuck you guys are, because I forget every week, I swear.
It's, you know what? It's okay, buddy. Sometimes I forget who I am. Of course, it's usually after a few Sailor Jerry and Rums.
So let's treat this like an AA meeting. Let's treat this like an AA meeting and just go around the table, and we'll start with the gentleman with the Black Tower Podcast background.
Hello, my name is Josh. I currently hold the rank of Soravan Mahale at the Black Tower Podcast, and I'm addicted to sardine.
Hi, Josh.
Hi, Josh.
I am Daniel. I currently hold the rank of Amin Khan Mahale at the Black Tower, and I'm mad.
Hi, Daniel.
Tell us. Hi, Daniel.
Thank you.
You can tell us about your feelings.
We will later. Well, there's sharing time later, but Andrew hasn't yet. Sorry, this guy over here. This lovely anonymous gentleman over here that I don't know yet until he introduces himself has yet to do so.
Hi, I'm Andrew. I hold the responsibility of Bajan Mahal, and I'm addicted to Val and Lucas Caps.
Hi, Andrew.
Hi, Andrew.
All right, so let's go around the circle and no.
Also, I was over this bit about 5 seconds in, not gonna lie.
Did you just make the Key and Peele reference? Because with great power comes great responsibility.
Bump. What was it? Bump, clank, and scrixt. I can't remember the words he did.
Rexed them sklumped.
That's it. If any of them Terry's feeling froggy.
Ribbit. If you have not gotten, I know that this is a plug for a completely different thing that has been off the air for a while, but if you have not gone and seen The Worst People to Sit Next to on an Airplane by Key and Peele, it is hilarious. Go do yourself a favor. Go watch it. It is so funny.
I would like to ask you for a favor. You can say no if you want. Can I trade seats with you? I will not take for an answer.
All right, but we're not here to talk about.
You say it's like
here to talk
not related, but it definitely is, because there's definitely people that wish that we were off the air by now.
Correct.
They haven't canceled us yet because you guys keep censoring all of my off-color jokes. God. Light.
Okay, so censor that, Andrew.
I planned on it.
Oh man. Anyway,
I want to use like the old like technical difficulties music, but it's copyrighted. So the whole little
maybe we can come up with our own technical difficulty.
That's what we should do.
Daniel will just compose some technical difficulties music, and every time we have something happen.
Love it.
I like it. We'll do it. Yeah,
I'm down with it.
So, once you know, now that you know why you're here, we got to tell you a couple things, because you have to go to blacktowerpod.com. You have to. That's kind of required.
It is required reading for all members of Black Tower.
It's got everything. And I will challenge you. Find something that is Black Tower Podcast that is not on the website. I dare you. Go through and look. Everything Black Tower Podcast is on our website. Check it out. It's got all of our social medias. It's got all of our merch store links. It's got our calendar, for crying out loud. It's got all the goodness there. So go check it out. It's even got a beautiful chibi of a woman with an Indiana Jones hat and a pickaxe. And that is the Crystal Barista, the official sponsor of the Black Tower Podcast. And right now is a great time to be a fan of the Crystal Barista. So go check her website out. Follow her on Facebook. All the goodness there. Then, Andrew, where are they going to want to go after that?
Really wherever you want. But on the way to wherever you want to go,
now that the mandatory is taken care of.
Definitely make sure you swing through thegreatblight.com. It is an amazing repository of Wheel of Time information, as well as Wheel of Time content creators. There are lists broken down by kind of platform or genre, I guess. You know, you have your YouTubers, your podcasters, your musicians, your artists, your trivia, whatever category you can think of. It is on thegreatblight.com with a list of amazing content creators that focus Wheel of Time content or do a fair number of Wheel of Time things that you can go and enjoy. And if you really enjoy all of those people and all of those content creators that you're finding there,
then maybe you get some extra swing with the Great
Blight.
Yeah. You can find some extra enjoyment out of content creator oriented things by going to newcreationsbyjen.com and checking out the Frosty Mug Collection. It is the only place to get the official Frosty Mug Collection, inspired or from all of your favorite Wheel of Time content creators, with a bunch of other Wheel of Time oriented kind of stuff that you can find there. Rob does a fantastic job of making his souvenir series, which is always fantastic. It was the inspiration for our Al Thor archery shirt, which we did talk to him about before we did. So for anybody that's worried about that, we checked with the master and he was like, that's a good idea. I'm cool with it.
Yep. And for all of you out there, content creators, if you're feeling frosty, now if you don't have a frosty mug yet, go ahead and talk to Jen from New Creations by Jen and get yourself on there, because the collection expands when we expand it. It's like Wikipedia. True. This article could be expanded by you.
Yeah. I mean, Kate Reading and Michael Kramer have one too. So
it's true.
And we have one. And Malkier Talks and Talkaron Riyadh and the Will Reads and the Will.
There's a lot of people.
There's a lot of people, and the only one we're missing is you.
A lot of great people have frosty mugs.
Oh no.
All the best people have frosty mugs. No one makes better frosty mugs than Jen. It's fantastic.
No one. A lot of people say that Jen has the best frosty mugs.
I've heard those people. Yeah, that's confirmed.
But if you're doing all this running around and you find yourself losing focus, losing energy, things like that, make sure you check out w.gg for their amazing energy supplement. I don't know why I just said it like I don't know what it is. It's good stuff. We each have it. We try it. I know I enjoy it. I love it. It works pretty well for me, and I haven't heard any complaints from the other guys. You can use discount code B.
Sorry, discount code.
You can use. You can use discount code BTP. That is BTP as in Black Tower Podcast to get 10% off your order, or you can click on the discount link down below, which I believe is w.gg/discount/BTP to get 10% off your order of any not already discounted W merch. They have added some, I believe, samplers and new shaker bottles. They've got some pretty dope stickers and stuff there too. So if nothing else, you can go and get a sticker and use our code and get 10% off of a sticker. I mean, hopefully it helps. Indeed. But with all that said and done and out of the way, make sure you go tell Adam and Eve and Manscaped that they need to sponsor us so that we can do hilariously bad ads for them as well.
Hilariously bad ads? Come on, we do hilariously bad ads right now. If they actually sponsored us, we do good ads.
No, I was saying like we can continue the metric for them.
Yeah, fair enough.
I mean, we literally sell
I can see it now.
Interactions with people.
Yeah. I can see it now, like just a regular pair of hair clippers. Has this ever happened to you? And then it just sounds like it grabs on, and then like a hot dog falls on the floor, and you just scream.
Don't lose your focus. Take W to keep your focus, and don't shave your junk off.
I always drink W before I use my Manscaped Lawnmower 2.0.
You know what the best part about a Lawnmower 2.0 is? You don't need W to use it because it's got skin-safe blades.
Oh, wow. That was a creepy sentiment. Okay. So tonight,
that's the whole point.
That's creepy. When you say skin-safe blades, that's the whole point of the lawnmower. That's Wild Bill right there.
It's not creepy, but it's definitely counterintuitive.
Skin-safe blades on its skin.
Tainted love.
Anyway, we're gonna get into the episode.
We're doing a thing.
We're moving back to the books. We're moving back to our bread and butter style of content, the stuff that, well, we love talking about all of it, but we definitely love going into theories and in-depth discussions about the books. How intellectual they are is up for you to decide. And if you don't think they are, hey, it's a free world. You can be as wrong. I mean, you can have the opinion you like to have. So for this episode,
such a Dirk friend.
Daniel, what are we talking about this episode?
Oh, we are talking specifically about some other breakdown kind of stuff. We've talked about nations. We've talked about characters. We've talked about this, that, and the other thing. We talk about relationships. We talk about everything. But there are some things that we haven't really touched on yet. And those are societies in some ways. So one of the first ones that we're going to get into is the White Towers societies. The White Towers broken up branches within the unified White Tower, or let's be honest, also not unified White Tower. But yeah, so we wanted to go ahead and get
Korea.
Into
Oh.
oh.
I'll leave it up to you to decide who's North Korea and who's South Korea.
Ayo.
We all know who's
Elida. Elida Jong-il? What?
what?
Son of
Kim
a bitch.
Jong-Elida? But yes, so
Kim
we thought that
Jong-Elida.
it would be nice to get into some of the nitty-gritty about the Aes Sedai. We've talked a lot about them on this show, and we've definitely brought up, you know, the things that we don't like and things that we like, and now we want to do sort of an informative series about the Aes Sedai in general, and about how they are broken up within the tower. So today's subject is all about the Blue Ajah. We're going to do a special where we focus on each Ajah during different episodes.
I was trying to turn my light blue.
I thought Josh was being attacked by Mashadar. Like I was like, what the fuck is happening here?
I thought
But
Josh had just picked up his vape pen again. Like,
that's a fat cloud, brah. What is that a Mac mod, brah? How many wraps you got on that coil, fam? Before we get into too many potentially spoilery jokes, as we've already made, maybe a few, let's give you your spoiler warning for this episode.
This is your official spoiler warning. This episode contains spoilers for all 14 books and the prequel. If you're still listening and you haven't read all these, you want to be spoiled, don't you? You crave it. Getting spoiled without putting in the work? Well, get ready. Here it comes.
Anybody else get chills? Anybody else? Just me? No? Cool. Hi.
That's the word we'll use. Chills.
Yeah, that's the family safe word to use.
I got some tingles on my tongue. Maybe I ate some pineapple.
Tingles.
Why is it so spicy?
Why is this banana so spicy? If you want to know why the banana is so spicy, join our Patreon and listen to our pre-recorded episodes.
Truth.
Hashtag spicy banana. So we're talking about societies.
In my panties right now.
What?
Daniel, which society specifically?
You made an Archer reference, so I made
You're not
another
wrong.
Archer reference.
Yeah, it took me a second.
Okay, good.
Like it caught me like off guard for some reason, and I heard it as like a standalone statement.
Bloosh.
And I was like, huh?
You're
If
not
you wanna
my
see all the references-
supervisor.
If you want to see all the references we make and the references that our lovely patrons make when they listen live, make sure you become a patron and then join our Discord where you can listen live as well. More plugs after we said we're done with plugs. But Daniel,
plugs.
yes, what
Plugs.
society
Sure.
of the White Tower specifically are we going to be discussing?
So we talking about the Ajahs. We talking about the Blue Ajah. We talking about that mission-oriented Ajah. We talking about that Moraine Ajah.
This is
We
on a
talking
mission.
about that Suan Ajah. We talking about that Ajah we like the most, but don't love the most because that's green. So,
Heyo.
but yeah, we're talking about the Blue Ajah in the White Tower, or outside of the White Tower, because let's be honest, there are a lot of blues outside the White Tower as well. That is one of the hallmarks, honestly, in some ways, about the Blue Ajah, because yeah, we're talking about that Blue Ajah.
The Blue Ajah is interesting though, because they're the only ones that like their like direct creed is sort of like live your best life. Find a thing you love and do nothing else but that thing for the rest of your 200-year life.
Yep.
And you got to hand it to the Blue Sisters. They are dedicated AF. Like, they're cool with that. You're like, okay, you're going to do a thing. And some of us is like, hey, man, you know what I love? Trumpets. I want everybody in the Westlands to play trumpets. And they're like, congratulations, Blue Ajah Aes Sedai sister. You're now going to make sure everybody plays the trumpet. She will die a failure, of course, but she doesn't care because she is an Aes Sedai of the Blue Ajah, and she is on a mission.
Yeah. They have speaking of missions, they have some interesting traditions in the Blue Ajah.
Yes, they do.
Like wearing full blue the first of each month. Like wearing blue stockings when leaving the tower. Never wearing red inside the tower with the exception of red gemstones.
Yeah,
so if you got your
no
rubies,
red.
you're fine.
Thigh-high stockings?
Do not wear red.
Or
I mean, it could be. Or when leaving Tarvalon, not necessarily when leaving the tower.
I choose to believe that it is thigh-high blue.
What's even stranger is that their warders wear blue garters.
Ooh. Yes. Sign me up to be bonded to a blue.
They're one of the Ajahs that also generally refrain from marrying. However, it is not taboo. It is not off limits, as we see with both Moraine and Suan.
They're generally married to the mission.
Yeah. You greet a new blue sister with the kiss of welcome. But to get the sixth kiss of welcome, the new Blue Ajah member has to bake a pie. The others I kind of get is like ritualistic or formulistic, but the pie thing,
the Blue
I don't
Ajah,
get.
right?
Huh?
Like, it has to be for the head of the Blue Ajah, right? Or does it just, she has to just bake a pie?
I don't know if it has to be the head. It's just
also, it's like, do you want like a blueberry pie? What kind of pie?
Are they judged? Don't you dare bake a cherry pie for the head of the Blue Ajah.
Oh, could you imagine?
I'm so mad that I'm sitting there like trying to think what fruit is red that goes in a pie, and for the life of me, could not think of cherry.
Rhubarb, cherry,
strawberry rhubarb pie. Oof.
I couldn't even think of strawberry, which is my favorite one. I mean, well, I've never had strawberry pie. Now I want strawberry pie. Son of a bitch.
Let's go to Marie Callender's after this.
Cool. Can you pick me up? Just swing right by and pick me up.
I'll swing by and pick you up. It'll be all good.
I'll see you in
those are weird
16
though.
hours.
Those are weird though.
More than that.
Which one of those? I always viewed the pie thing as almost like a hazing. Not hazing, but like welcome to the club, new girl. A little like hazing. Like if you don't cook a good pie, you're gonna get some of the most shitty jobs.
Boring hazing I have ever heard of.
I mean, I agree. Don't get me wrong.
Like the only thing that could be more boring as hazing is requiring someone to bring you like a glass of water. Shit.
Hey-o.
Not water shit. Bringing you a glass of water.
Of water and shit? That's not the same. Yeah. Bring me water and shit.
Indeed. So the head of the Blue Ajah. Does anybody know what the head of the Blue Ajah is called?
Your mom?
Incorrect.
No, I don't actually know.
The first.
Okay, I got to it. I can tell you. I didn't know off the top of my head, but it's the first selector.
It is the first selector.
I got to it in the wiki. I cheated. I very much cheated.
It is the first selector, and we actually get to see the first selector in the TV show, which is a fun little thing. She was actually a really cool character, yeah. But not for long, because she has to go off and do other things. She has to go see about that Sean Chan threat. Ooh,
I know, right?
Sorry.
Ships are disappearing to the west.
the books.
Who's gonna take a guess that she is not gonna make it out of the that's not. We're gonna have to rescue Megan from the Sean-Chinians.
We will have to, and she deserves to be rescued because she was super cool.
She was super nice.
She had like 5 minutes of screen time, but she was super cool all 5 of those minutes.
Yeah,
throwing it out there.
Anyway, back to the books.
Anyway.
So,
but yes, in the books, it is not Megan. Who is it?
It is not.
Andrew.
It is Lelaine. Oh, yeah, Andrew. Who is it?
It is Lelaine
Akashi.
Yeah. There you go.
Akashi. We all said it.
But you were going to say something else, Andrew.
I was. Oh, the Blue Ajah in the books are renowned for having the most well-organized and extensive eyes and ears network.
Yes.
If there's information that can be got, they got it. This comes into huge advantage for Suwon, because being from the Blue Ajah, she had access to the eyes and ears network. She developed her actual own eyes and ears network that apparently in and of itself rivaled the overall structure of the just innate Blue Ajah one, obviously incorporating some members from that as well. But it carries over into her Amerlin seat time, because she still uses the same network of eyes and ears to gather information, both while she's Amerlin and after she's stilled. And then after she's healed again. And it's one of the big assets that she brings to the Aes Sedai in Saladar, or the rebel Aes Sedai.
Well, and it's one of the reasons that they keep her around. She goes to them and says, hey, I know I'm not a sister anymore. I know I can't channel. I know that all of you look down on me because I have been stilled. And while I don't necessarily hate you for it, because God damn it, I was you like 20 minutes ago, not really, like a year ago, but I was definitely you, and I get it, but also I have these eyes and ears. I'm still useful. I still have this thing. Keep me around. I will absolutely go ahead and do this for you, because I still want to be here and I still want to be around sisters, and I need a mission to keep me alive in some ways, because I've now been stilled and it's hard to go ahead and find a reason to keep on living. And it ends up putting her in exactly the position that she needs to be to help Egwene and get healed. Like, all of it is good stuff.
Yes. Well, and another fun fact with going along this subject of the Blues being so good at setting up spy networks, Leanne, the keeper of the Chronicles, who was also stilled, has a network of eyes and ears inside the tower.
Yes.
The white. Think about that for a second. The women who are the most spy, political, secrets within secrets, cloak and dagger shit. And Leanne's like, I'm going to spy on these guys. And actually has a successful network of eyes and ears within the White Tower. Now, if that doesn't speak to the skill and ability of the Blue Ajah to gather information and gather intel and gather secrets, I don't know what does. That's impressive.
Well, one of the things I was going to point out with Suwon is I think it's easy to overlook. I mean, people can state it, but it's really, there's a lot to grasp in the severity of how effective Suwon's network of eyes and ears are, and how loyal they are, because they don't abandon her whenever she is still. They still remain loyal. They still give information. And imagine this: you go from being the top ranked in the entire institution. You are that motherfucker. And you go to the absolute bottom of the barrel within that organization, and everybody has perceivably no reason to give you any kind of respect. Her eyes and ears network is so though they don't know the people in it, the effectiveness of it is so well known that it forces sisters that even don't like her to begrudgingly admit that they have to allow her to be involved. They have to bring her into meetings that by all rights and traditions, she should not be even aware are happening because of how much information she can gather. She has made herself completely indispensable.
Well, and of course, it's also interesting there because on some level, you also kind of realize just how much damage Suwon could do if she was scorned by them. And so, like, again, I think she doesn't give them a choice in the best kind of way because, again, she is very carrot. She is absolutely like, I will use this network for you. I want to be helpful. I want to be here. I will absolutely go ahead and access this network for your benefits.
Served. I will be of service.
Right.
Exactly.
And then, but you
There's
also
your easy
know
movie
that,
quote
like,
for the episode.
Behind the scenes, you also know that, like, behind that is such a threat. It's like, it's the stick, like, right there. And if you don't let me in, I will make your lives living hells. Like, seriously.
I mean, it's like Al Capone, Chicago. Like, it's pretty much like she's got the city by the cojones.
By the Capones?
That's a really nice campaign you have there. It would be a shame if something were to happen.
It'd be a shame if everybody found out about your 300 dedicated prostitutes.
Oh, I was actually going to say the other thing. It's actually very Al Capone, because Al Capone would be like, it's a really nice campaign you got there. I will donate lots of money to it as long as you let me do what I want.
Exactly.
And if you don't, I will tell everyone about the prostitutes and also, you know, take away all of your bodyguard support that I actually put into place. And so, again, it's very Al Capone of regular. It's absolutely a carrot thing. It is absolutely, they come to you not with a threat. They come to you with an offer. They come to you with a bribe. You know the threat is there. It's possible. It exists. But they come to you with the money. They come to you with the network. They come to you with whatever as an offer of, let me have what I want and I will give you many things. And if you don't, that's when the threat will come into play. But they don't say it. It's just known.
And one of the things I love about this, to continue with the, I know we're sort of comparing Swan Sanche to Al Capone right now, but I think it's a very valid comparison because
the only thing that got her in trouble was tax fraud.
Talked about,
except it was Dragon Reborn.
There it is. Yes. We talked about sort of the threatening side of it, but the side that we don't talk about with Al Capone specifically, but which is also true of Swan Sanche, is that when you're in Swan Sanche's good graces, you can get away with literal murder as long as you don't hurt the cause. You can do whatever you want that will not hurt the cause, which is why they had such a hard time nailing Al Capone, because so many people were so loyal because he offered legitimate actual protection and shelter and all these things. Well, all these people. Swan Sanche did the same thing. She favored the Blue Ajah, the spy masters, the intel gatherers, and they protected her.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, I mean, just like Al Capone and just like a lot of current there are a ton of gangs of all sorts that do it now to this day, and you could argue that its effectiveness was demonstrated by Al Capone. He was an incredible philanthropist as well. He didn't just like say, "Hey, I own all of the liquor sales during Prohibition." It was, "I own all of that, yes, but here's all of these causes and people in need that I'm going to give money to that they never have to pay back because I'm not the man's bank."
Exactly.
Well, and I also want to throw out there,
kind of does the same thing with like giving free like help to the Aes Sedai. It does come at the cost of keeping her in the loop.
Sure.
But there's also that feeling that between her and Leanne, that regardless, she'd still be in the loop. They just wouldn't know.
Well, and I think this is both a good transition back into just the Blue Ajah in general, as well as, talking about the Amarylline seed as a Blue Ajah and things like that, where there's another comparison to Al Capone and many other, mafia and gang members and things like that, in terms of the tower is held together by politics. And Swan Sanche does a really good job.
Hold on. There's a lot of background noise suddenly. Like it sounds like there's a 747 spinning up in the distance.
It was Josh. I don't know what's up with you, but it was
okay. His like central heating might have kicked in, and it might be blowing like nearby. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, okay. But one of the things that I appreciate is that, like, again, Swan Sanche is very much a la Al Capone in terms of I will let you get away with certain things. But if you break the rules of conduct, if you hurt the mission, if you go over your territory lines, if you go ahead and start a war with anybody else in any other Ajah, I will cut you. I will end you. This is how the tower runs. The reds have this area. The yellows have this area. The blues have this area, and you're all in charge of your own thing. And as long as none of you motherfuckers test me, you get to do just about whatever you want. But the second you test me and you go over and do things you're not supposed to do, I will end your entire career. And again, it's that like rules of conduct that keep the tower in check, because they're going off the rails a little bit. And then Swan Sanche comes into power and she goes, we're not doing that. And then the second that Swan Sanche gets out of power and Elida is just kind of running around like being a bitch with an iron fist, the whole tower falls apart because there are no rules anymore. There's no ruls of conduct. Exactly. There's no rules of whatever.
Is that the next movie in the saga? Like the girl with the dragon tattoos, the bitch with the iron fist. Like, what the fuck?
No, they already did that. Yes. It was on Netflix. It was the Colleen Wing story, but then also Danny Rand was there somehow.
Now I just want the scene of like post like stilling Swan, calling somebody into her chamber, and she's just like sitting in front of the fire, like cleaning her under her nails with like a switchblade. Like, so I hear you had a conversation with a red sister. Interesting.
You come here after conversation with a red sister and expect me to give you carte blanche to do whatever you want?
No, but again, I think the Blue Ajah in general is also very much like that. Each sister is given so much leeway. Each sister is given so much rope. But in the end, you follow the rules. You follow the Blue Ajah's mandates. You follow what is important. Otherwise, they will hang you with the rope they gave you, because that's how it works. And all of the Blue Sisters know to stay in line, because if they don't, bad things are going to happen. And Moraine is absolutely one of those people who like flirts with that line a lot.
Well, and that's just the interesting thing. So again, one of the other, this might be kind of a moot point, but one of the more famous, the two most famous Blue Ajah sisters, of course, are Moraine and Swan, followed closely by Leanne, and then there are a number of other ones as well. One of the notable Blue Ajah sisters in the series is Gitara, the one who had the vision, the foretelling of the dragon being reborn on the slopes of Dragon Mount. She sits there, she has her vision, she falls over dead afterwards. And the Amarylline seat at the time says, shit, hi, Swan and Moraine, my two accepted that are here.
Tamra
guess
Ospena.
What? Yeah, Tamra Ospena, and we're going to need to know what's going on, so you guys are going to be my seekers. Tamra is also a Blue Ajah.
Correct.
So I'm not going to. I'll bet money that Tamra, from that day forward, groomed both Moraine and Siuan to become, not only to become Blue Ajah sisters, but to know how to. And I mean, as we know, Moraine is already from Carrion, so she's already got a good grasp of the game of houses of Dias Damar. Tamra then starts teaching them, giving them probably private/personal lessons in how to spy and be awesome. And Siuan and Moraine set up this really intricate plan. They set up this plan. Siuan's like, I'm going to be the Amarylline Seat and protect your ass. Moraine, you are going to go find the Dragon Reborn. And for 20 to 40 years, that's what they end up doing. Well, for 20 years, essentially, that's what they end up doing.
Yep.
And think about this, too. In the White Tower, with Aes Sedai, with the sisters, time spans are a lot longer for them because their lives are a lot longer. In 20 years, well, actually in fewer than 20 years, Siuan Sanche went from accepted to Amarylline Seat.
Yep.
I mean,
like, think about that.
Yeah.
I mean, the Blue Ajah are very much known to be a force to be reckoned with. I mean, I know we're looking at the same wiki, so this might be a moot point to ask if you remember, but do you remember what Jesse Bilal, a Brown sister, says about the Blue Ajah after Elida has disbanded the Blue Ajah and essentially kicked them out of the tower?
I do, because I'm looking at it, but Andrew, please tell us.
That is exactly why I remember as well.
I remember it.
I remember in general the conversation happening, but I didn't remember the details. And the way Jesse Sedai says it just points to how like tentative the balance was, and how, if not respected for them being fellow sisters, being respected for their influence and just their hardiness is. Because this is from the Gathering Storm, I think chapter 43. Yeah. And she says, we never should have let Elida disband the Blue Ajah. The Blues might have been willing to come back had it not happened, but it was such a dishonor that they dug in. Light only knew how dangerous that was. The histories are filled with accounts of how dogged the Blues could be at getting their ways, particularly when they were forced into a corner. And we see it play out, because even if the Blue Ajah isn't like the central, like only Ajah that's really leading this charge back against the White Tower, it's their eyes and ears and spy network that actually makes a ton of what happens possible.
Well, and of course, again, even though they're not the spearhead of it, as you said, Andrew, they are almost all present. That is a big thing, is that because
every Blue Ajah sister.
Oh yeah, you're right.
Tower. Yeah. It was the only Ajah to flee the White Tower en masse and completely.
They all leave the tower. I agree with that, but not all of them are present in Saladar. But again, they're the biggest group in Saladar because they all flee the tower. They all leave. Every single one of them leaves the tower. And many to most of them find their way to Saladar and are. And
Elida completely discounts them because she's like, they don't exist anymore. I disbanded. They don't exist anymore. And it's like,
because Elida's a narcissistic.
How did that work out for like, like the French resistance? Yeah, you could say like, no, they don't exist. They're not there. And then like your fucking tanks start blowing up, and you're like, must have been an accident.
We are not here. Ce n'est pas possible.
I'm sorry. There is no war in Ba Sing Se.
There is no war in Ba Sing Se.
Sorry, wait, hang on. No, there is no war in Ba Sing Se.
There is no war in
Ba Sing Se.
Ce n'est pas possible.
Ce n'est possible. Oh man, yeah, no,
but it's funny because like at the start. Sorry, go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
Go for it.
Oh, so we talk. Because because we've already kind of talked about the size of the Blue Ajah in the Rebel Tower, in the amongst the Rebel Aes Sedai being the largest faction tower there. Yeah, but when the series starts, the Blue Ajah, as far as like size and numbers, is only the 6th largest. They fall behind the Yellows, but ahead of the Whites. And before the kind of division, and this just points to how small the numbers are in the White Tower. They still only numbered 100. Like that's we find out that is nothing compared to how many Aes Sedai used to be in the Blue Ajah, much less the entire White Tower during its heyday. Back like Ultra Hawkwing times. Before the breeding stock, if you will. It's a terrible way to say it, but before the breeding stock was called out. Not saying I don't understand.
It's accurate though. I mean, it sucks, but.
Also, can we just pause for just a moment and realize that at least according to the wiki, it says that it also contained 22 Black Sisters. That means 1 in 4 Blue Ajah members were black, not even really blue. That's rough. Yeah. I mean, like, I don't actually know what it is for the red. We'll get there at some point because we're doing a breakdown on the red too, but yikes.
You know what?
4 sisters?
That's almost Slytherin levels.
Oh, yeah.
Like evil and dark friendery. Like,
yeah. Yikes.
More Shoddy says it's 24% in the Red Ajah.
So, okay, per capita.
Which I think the Red Ajah at the time of the series start is larger than the Blue Ajah.
It is. I think they're actually second. I'd have to look it up, but I think they're actually second largest.
I mean,
and it's still like only like 150 or whatever. It's not a huge difference, but I mean, it's half again as much or something along those lines. Yeah. So,
I mean, they are a cult to in some ways, but we'll talk about that more when we get to them.
Wait, did you say they are a cult? Or they are
a cult. A cult. There's a space. They're not.
Did you say
cult.
Hey
they
Blinken
are a cult
or a Blinken?
No, I said a Blinken.
But yeah, that's a perfect thing.
There's
like
your second easy movie quote for today. Yeah. Sorry.
Yeah, there is when you look at like the schisms in the division between the Ajahs. At least from the reader perspective, from what we see and how they interact, there is no bigger animosity than exists between the Red Ajah and the Blue Ajah. It's fucking mortal enemies. Like, it began 2,000 years prior to the start of the books when Tetsuan was disposed, instilled, and replaced by an Amerlin formerly of the Blue. Of course, Tetsuan was of the Red, so they got pissed. And we're like, we don't like you because you hurt our mom. Except not as justified as that.
Mama.
The frog and the square.
But then it happened again. Like, the same thing happened twice. Because Bonewyn Merigden, fucking whatever, Bonewyn, also of the Red Ajah, was disposed, stilled, and replaced by an Amerlin from the Blue Ajah, and it's like
deposed.
The more things change, the more they stay.
It's the same. It's the same thing in effect.
Kinda.
When you're stilled as well, you're essentially disposed.
You're basically disposed of. Yeah, no, you're not.
Because they're not too great at aftercare for stilled.
No, they're not. They're really not.
Which is why Suan has to fight so hard to like still be relevant, because they're like, don't we normally just chuck you off a cliff or something? Like,
so this is kind of actually a fun point, and I know this is supposed to be kind of a deep dive on the Blue Ajah, but I think it proves, or I think it illustrates a good point about how the more things change, the more they stay the same. All Aes Sedai are political, maneuvering, backstabbing little spies. Okay, they all are. Some are
sounds like a gross generalization.
Others.
I wouldn't say all.
I would also say that there are some Ajahs that are way worse than others.
That's
to the point where I feel like most yellow and white sisters are actually not.
And even most brown sisters. But as we have Baron Sedai, like
yeah. But at the same time, it is a statement very much said that Aes Sedai came up with the Game of Houses and things like that. So it is definitely a part of the White Tower. I don't disagree with that statement.
And the point I'm going for here is that you had a blue sister who was deposed by a red sister, who was deposed by a blue sister, who was then deposed by a red sister. So we have this like super tragic story of Siuan being deposed. And I'm like, this has happened 4 times prior. Like, these kinds of successions are not uncommon in the White Tower. Yes, it's tragic because we like Siuan, but at the same time, these kinds of things have happened in the past as well. This is what is bred in the tower, and it's what Egwene identifies really quickly later on in the series when she goes, yeah, no, this is not okay. And she starts pulling the different strengths from the different Ajahs, and one of those is the ability to be dedicated to a cause from the Blue Ajah. She recognizes that is extremely important in the goal of having a whole, strong White Tower.
Well, and it is interesting because one of the things that I want to say about the tower in general, and also about the Blue Sisters, or the Blue Ajah, because the Blue Sisters and the Red Sisters, one of the reasons that they are so angry at each other all the time and why there's this deep-seated animosity is that they are 2 of the strongest willed Ajahs.
Yes.
Their inherent strength, not necessarily in the power, but in their own personalities, lend itself very well to the survival of the fittest and the alpha of the tower. And that is what the Amyrlin is in some ways. They are either the best at political maneuvering and or the strongest in the power and or, a number of different things that make them sort of the strongest leader. And while, if we're being honest, more often than not, an Amyrlin just dies or steps down, then is deposed and stilled, it is definitely a situation where when somebody else steps up to challenge the alpha, it can be very problematic in the tower, and they need to solve that in some way. And sometimes that ends up happening by the up-and-comer ends up having a larger faction and a larger ability, and they can take out the current Amyrlin. Now, it's also true, and this is my second point, the tower is built on secrets. It's absolutely built on secrets in so many ways. And again, I absolutely agree with it that it's less in some areas and more in others, and less in Ajahs and more in others, and things like that. I'm not saying that every Aes Sedai is just a secret keeping bitch. That's not what I'm saying. However, the tower itself is built on knowing things other people don't know and making plans other people don't expect.
Precisely.
Which ends up meaning that if you're at the top of that tower, you have a lot of secrets. And if any of your plans don't go correctly, there is a lot of fodder if anyone finds out about that failed plan to go ahead and remove you from the top of the tower. Again, it's Siuan. Siuan absolutely has this. Even Tetsuan also ends up sort of having this, that she doesn't go to Manetherin's defense. And that is seen as a treachery, which on one hand...
No, it is a treachery. It is not seen as a treachery. It is a treachery.
Well, it's because the manner in which
I don't know. Sure.
Yes.
I agree with that.
It's a treachery. It's more so, it's definitely a folly on the part of their relationship with Manetheren.
That's absolutely true. Yeah.
There's nothing to indicate that there is a hardcore alliance between the White Tower and Manetheren. However,
exactly,
her decision to keep the information away from the rest of the White Tower, especially the sitters, is seen as a treachery against the tower itself. And I think it was actually against tower law because of the style of decision it was.
Yes, no, and I totally agree with that. All of that is accurate. But again, it's a situation where the second that you have a plan that goes awry, or you don't do everything exactly to tower law because you think you're doing the right thing, and all of this different stuff, the second someone finds out about that, you are in danger of being removed. You are in danger of falling. And I think that is so telling as to why the Reds and the Blues hate each other so much, and why the Blues are regularly at the top. Ambition and mission-oriented nature regularly lends itself to being CEOs, presidents, Amerlin seats, all of these different things. And in the end, if you get to the top and you make mistakes, those mistakes are glaring, and people will do everything they can to bring you down. And
and the more it so what's one of the common statements people make about modern cars? Now we got computer chips in, we got all these features in, that's just more stuff to break, right? When I open my door, this little thing comes out and goes whiz. That's just another thing to break. It's pointless. It shouldn't be there because it's just another thing on there that will break eventually. That makes no sense to me. As a spy master, you don't get to the top without a whole treasure trove of secrets.
Oh, yeah.
And if someone finds out those things, as we saw with Suan, now, Elida may not have been the most ethical in her information seeking.
Most ethical.
But she's the least ethical. She found the dirt, she found enough dirt to obtain the Amerlin seat while still being within tower law. Now,
technically,
it was by the skin of her teeth. It was the barest minimum, but she was still legally raised Amerlin. And Suan was still legally deposed and stilled. And Cad Swain even points that out at one point. She says, wait a minute. Elida Sedai is a lawfully appointed Amerlin seat, and you will not talk badly about her in my presence, or that will be seen as treason under tower law.
I am technically correct. The best kind of correct.
The best kind of correct.
Well, let's go to the opposite end of the spectrum. We've talked about who the Blue Ajah gets along worst with. Indeed. So let's talk about who they get along best with. It is, of course, the green. It is the green Ajah.
All right.
Which it's hilarious that one of the only points of contention that we know of from the books that happens where there is any strained relationship between the Blue Ajah and the green Ajah is, in the grand scheme of things, especially in the life of an Aes Sedai, irrelevant. It's a small issue. It's a very small thing because the green Ajah sitters do advise that Moraine be exiled to a farm because it seems that Suan was so very favorable to her. We understand why.
Yeah.
Because when the bed game is so good that it makes you break tower law. Or at least hide things. I get
every guy knows that feeling, by the way.
I've done worse for less.
Most girls know that feeling too. But
most people know what that's like.
Yeah.
So don't sit there in your tower and judge, because you know.
If you're in the military and your leave got denied and you got a picture from somebody that made you consider going AWOL, you know what it feels like. All right, and that shit happens a lot.
I'm laughing because God.
Also, can I just say, I
had ones that made me consider booking flights from UAE back to the US. I was like,
also, can we just stop for a moment and say out loud, I'm guessing that some of those Green sisters who were suggesting that Moraine be exiled to a farm would have then booked a wagon ride to that farm to see what was up with Moraine and why Suan put everything on the line for her.
Yeah. And
I ain't talking about no spy network.
Yeah. Well, at the time of the proposal, the Green sitters at the time were Talene, Faisal, and Rubinda. Rubinda, because the E works well enough, and I'm going to slightly go German with it. And it was Talene and Rubinda that would later also vote to depose Suan and raise Elida. And we find out later that Talene was actually Black Ajah, and was quite probably under orders to create and spread dissent within the Hall of the Tower.
Well, and as we know, Elida herself was not Black Ajah, but
shadow collusion.
Her keeper of the Chronicles was. Because the Black Ajah is smart enough to not be in the main spotlight. Because for hell's sake,
they're fucking wicked smart. I tell you what,
they're wicked smart. They've been
they're smart
for
until
1,000
then.
years.
They're smart until then. At that point, they go beyond the whole. We're going to stay in the background, and like that's when they make a big power play that actually,
they make
has an enormous risk.
At the time of Tarman Gaiden, though, it's time.
Oh yeah,
the pieces are moving. It's time to like gear up and get ready. So the only reason it's seen as a dumb move is because Egwene is because
they still had enough control without
Varen has been gathering intel on them, which I think it's interesting that the Blue Ajah and the Brown Ajah have such a timid or tense relationship. It's not bad. It's amicable at best. But the Brown Ajah will side with other Ajahs before they will side with the Blue. But they have a very similar sort of...
The White's the only one.
Method. Yeah. They have a very similar sort of method where information is power.
Yeah.
The Blues focus on information in the here and now.
You know what we got to do? At the end of this, just because I know I'm going to forget it. At the end of this Ajah thing, if it's not already on the schedule, I have to look at the schedule. We got to do an episode on like how the Black Ajah infiltrates and how they work and the mechanics of how it works. Because I think that can be confusing for a lot of people.
Should we do a deep dive on the Black Ajah, or should we do like a different kind of episode?
If we do a deep dive on the Black Ajah, I think that'd be a bad idea because it would last 30 seconds because Black Ajah doesn't exist.
There is no Black Ajah in Ba Sing Se.
Yeah. No, I think it should be like it's definitely going to be kind of along the same vein because they're technically not an Ajah, but it's going to be more like a study of how the Wheel of Times version of the KGB infiltrated the CIA.
See, or how Hydra infiltrated S.H.I.E.L.D.
I don't understand.
Hydra made S.H.I.E.L.D., so that's a little different.
I don't understand how the KGB did it. Like, seriously, how do you walk around in the CIA and go, hey, man, how's it going? And they go, it's going great. And you're like, hello, what the fuck? Yeah.
Welcome to CIA. It is great to have you here.
The same way.
It was a
have some story.
Yeah. Okay. I was about to say, we literally have seen actors all over the place that have accents that are 100% foreign to them. Anything can be trained. Anything can be trained.
I don't have a Russian accent, and I just
like you are saying things with your mouth that are trying to make sense, but I am not sure what you are saying.
I love the
Also,
freaking the meme videos.
I am the machine.
Where it's like you have like the Russian operative that's secretly training somewhere, and they're like at the firing range one day, and it's like how do you get found out? And for those of you that don't know, American style weaponry, especially the M4 M16, has a charging handle at the back that you reach right here and just pull back. But for the AK, the way to charge a round into the chamber is you reach under and up and you pull back and release. So the whole meme is like you have a guy sitting there with like an M4, M16, and he takes and reaches under and across, which obviously doesn't work. And all the other agents turn and look at him. It's great.
I like that.
There's actually a very interesting like cultural basis to kind of look at, because the same sort of thing happens in Inglourious Bastards.
Mm-hmm.
He says, I would like dry glaze. Yes. And they all go.
Well, actually, interestingly, immediately, only the one guy actually does the. Nobody else notices because they're already drunk, over. But yeah,
and he goes. Wait a minute. So I know. Of course, they're speaking German, and he goes, "I know you're not German because if you would have ordered dry glaze." And it's interesting to note the cultural differences. You can speak the language perfectly. And I feel like this is something that's actually relevant to the Blue Ajah. These are things they would be trained in. It's not just language. It's not just accent. It's not just
all
dialect.
The mannerisms, all the cultural,
all the mannerisms. Yep.
1, 2, 3 versus 1, 2, 3. And you don't go 2 because that's a bad sign in some places. So, I mean,
that's a good sign in all places.
Yeah.
There he is.
You'll have to watch the YouTube video to get what we mean.
Can I also just say I also love in that scene, I know that we're getting a little off, and I will bring it back in just a second, I promise. But I do love in that scene where he's like, I have a Luger now pointed at your balls. And the other guy goes, I've had a Luger pointed at your balls since you came over and sat down. And it's the greatest fucking line.
I love that movie.
It's so
Go watch Inglourious Bastards.
Yes.
It's one of the greatest movies ever made.
It's fun. That being said, hey guys, I think that we're mostly done with the Blue Ajah. Is there let's do last thoughts on the Blue Ajah. I know. Let me be clear.
We're not going to talk about the relationship with the other Ajahs.
Okay. No, fuck them. No, just kidding.
Well, okay, so first off, we know that the Blues and the Reds.
Well, I was going to let
Frog
Daniel
and Scorpion. They hate
proposal.
No, he's.
Sorry. Go ahead. My bad.
Red, blue, no like. Green, blue, it's okay. They nice. They like each other. They do this sometimes. And then brown Ajah like white Ajah, better than blue, but like blue better than yellow. Then yellow, there's some tension. Between
I'll get some practice with the blur effect and the censor bar and editing for this one.
No, there is definitely a little bit of a tension between the yellows and the blues based on history. They don't love each other, but again, let's be honest, the yellows definitely dislike other Ajahs more than they dislike the blue. So they're okay, but it's like kind of maybe 50-50. And then there's the white Ajah, who they kind of they're on the lower end of the totem pole in terms of how much they like the blue. There is, since the Aiel War, they have not loved each other so much.
Do you know what gets me about this is the Blue Ajah, who prides themselves in knowing everything, has no idea why the white Ajah is pissed at them. None. It's the white Ajah is just like, we don't like the blues. And the blues are like, why? And the white's like, it is not logical for me to tell
you. If I have to tell you, then it doesn't, then it's not important.
You should already know.
You should know.
I have to tell you.
If you really loved me, you'd know what to do right now.
Yeah. If you cared about us enough, you would know.
Well, I also love the whites, like, we are uber logical. We will support you as long as you go against the Reds. But if it's not against the Reds, then we don't support you. And it's like,
what's happening?
That is a soundbite that out of context sounds absolutely horrible.
Can you guys hear that?
Oh,
or am I going mad?
Stop that. Hear what? Hear what?
I can hear the Dusty Wheel theme song by Androl.
Yeah, you probably have a tab open somewhere. Because that's how computers work.
Do not give me the wine.
Do you have Twitter open?
We're gonna give you the
tabs
wine
open. Don't.
I know you have many tabs open. The last time when we were at your house the last time, and I saw the tabs on your computer, I about shit a brick because I was like, "Holy fuck!"
I was so mad. I was so angry.
I felt like physically nauseous.
I felt violated.
You know what?
Your tabs.
I was moved to like chaos. Genghis Khan level violence.
I love it.
Those of you that definitely don't know, he had like fucking 30 tabs open in a single window of Chrome, and I was like, no.
I got it. We're good. I no longer hear voices.
If you only had like 2 or 3 tabs open like a normal person, it wouldn't have taken so long.
You that long. I have
gotta learn how to close tabs, my friend.
I have 7 tabs open right now, and they all have a purpose. And as soon as we're done recording, 5 of them are going away.
If you think I'm bad,
no, it doesn't.
At the Crystal Barista's computer.
Hey, Josh. Just because somebody else is worse doesn't mean you're okay.
Oh yeah, there's the crab pot mentality. Throw someone else back into the bucket to make you look better. Oh god! How many tabs of rocks can you have open at one time? That should be the true test of new graphics cards.
Of tabs?
There it is. How many of tab rocks? Yeah, that's right. No, Blue Ajah. Okay, so final thoughts. Let's blow the man down here. Final thoughts on the Blue Ajah. The Blue Ajah
blow the man down.
Though they be small in numbers, they be mighty in stature. You will not find another group of women more passionate at their cause or their mission.
What about the Ken?
Or whatever it is that they want to accomplish.
I didn't even think before I spoke. I'm sorry.
I know. I know.
I'm sorry.
It's okay. You just felt like what it was like to be Josh most of the time for a moment.
You touched.
Oh,
you're flying too close to the sun, Andrew.
This is the segment where we rag on Josh.
I'm sorry. Yeah. Isn't that just the Black Tower podcast? Like I thought that was.
Well, I mean, it might just depend on who does the intro, who gets ragged on the most. Like,
I mean,
with great responsibility comes great suffering. That's
great responsibility.
The Blue Ajah understands that knowledge is power. Again, we've discussed this. I don't understand why the brown and the blues are not more closely aligned. But at the same time, I understand why they are not more closely aligned, because they understand that knowledge is power. But they have different tenses for the knowledge. Browns believe the knowledge is powers in the past. Blues believe that the most powerful knowledge is the here and now. There is an argument for both. And which is why when Egwene comes to the tower, she was like, we should be working together. You dumb. You basic
Ajahs
bitches.
Together strong.
That's right. Apes together strong. The Blue Ajah
together strong was better.
Is one of the most influential Ajahs because of their passion and because of their intelligence gathering abilities. And they are able to affect changes, which ultimately, I will make this claim and I will die on this hill, which ultimately lead to the success at Tarmogoyf. And that is my final thoughts.
I was really hoping you'd say like, I will make this hill and die on this claim.
Andrew, you're not my daddy.
Not yet.
Hey.
Bold words for the man who's asked to be adopted numerous times. I'm just saying.
Hey.
Wow. Okay. All right, children.
Well, then you can just tell people you're from.
Devolves any further.
Well, then we could just sing Sweet Home Alabama all the time.
Sweet Home Alabama.
No offense to Alabama.
I hate that song.
Yeah.
Yeah, we could tell. It gets brought up and you immediately start singing it.
That's why I hate it.
I hate
all you have to do is go
so much.
And everybody goes,
Turn it up.
Stop it.
Well, you know, they say even bad press is still better than no press.
No,
so the fact that you know the song.
Bad press. I know the song because I spent 4 years in Georgia, which is why it annoys me, because every time that opening riff comes on, everybody be like, yeehaw, yee, sweet home Alabama. I'm like, you're from Georgia.
Hey. Don't taint the reputation of the yee. All right.
You're in the
You leave the yee out of this. The yee did nothing to you.
Photograph. There we go. We're off of that song. We can now hate on Nickelback. Andrew, what are your last thoughts on?
The Blue Ajah is really cool. It is one of, if not my favorite Ajah, because I really like this kind of like this kind of subtle spy kind of mechanic that they have going on that they use, and they use it very well.
All those subtle sisters.
Oh yes, more than 7, I would say, but
yeah, probably.
I really love it. I find it intriguing. I find it interesting, for sure. I also find like their secret weaves interesting because of what they seem obviously intended for. So like every Ajah, you know, has weaves that they know that no other Ajah knows. And the Blue Ajah has 2. And one deals with insects. They can either repel all insects, or they can make them gather and bite all at once. And I'm like, yeah, that's a fucking torture technique right there. And then the second one is a weave that makes the subject feel fear, which is useful in intimidation. So there's probably some members of the Eyes and Ears network that probably would fit in very well at, like, you know, 2010 and earlier Gitmo.
I wonder if that ability is identified in the Wheel of Time tabletop RPG book. And I have both books, so I am going to look at that and find out.
Can I just say, guys, I absolutely love the Twitter or the meme tweet that's the getting waterboarded at Guantanamo Bay sounds amazing if you don't know what either of those things are.
Oh,
All right, Daniel.
But they're a lot of fun.
Out.
I like them.
What do you think about the Blue Ajah?
Andrew, were you done?
Oh yeah.
Are you
He
sure?
said he was done.
I mean, until you say something that triggers me to think of something else to say.
Which is in true Black Tower fashion.
No, I do not like the Blue Ajah as much as the green,
just
for reasons. But
God, starting off strong. Okay.
But the Blue Ajah is definitely very close second. I actually really like the Blue Ajah, and it's not just because one of our super main characters is from the blue. I just agree with them. I absolutely agree with the Blue Tower or the Blue Ajahs.
It is the Blue Tower.
Blue Tower.
But again, I think that they encompass a lot of sort of the best of what Aes Sedai can be, in terms of they're ambitious, but not so ambitious as some of the others. They're knowledge focused, but not to the point where it actually hurts their cause. They're, this, that, and the other thing. And there's sort of, a lot of this in moderation. And I appreciate that about the Blues, that they are willing to fight, not as much as the Green Ajah. They are willing to heal, not as much as the Yellow Ajah. All of these different things. And I really appreciate that they have a lot of different goals, yet aren't so tied to anything I think is problematic. And so I like it. And I also admit that I agree with and appreciate a leader who gives the people under them a lot of leeway. And I really think that the Blue sisters are the ones who do that the best.
Are you saying micromanaging is bad?
Micromanaging Ajah. I think that I think that they are the least.
There's like at least 60% of military leaders that hate you right now.
Oh, I'm sure. And those military leaders can go micromanage their own buttholes.
Those military leaders can suck it.
They can micromanage these nuts, like eat a dick. I hate micromanagers. I'm not saying that they're like literally the worst thing in the world, because Hitler and Stalin, but also micromanagers might
the be kings like of micromanagement.
They might be like third. It's like Stalin, Hitler, micromanagers. Like, fuck you, the hell out of my face. I'm trying to do a job. Trust me for a second. Like, I don't know. And so again, like the Blues seem to be very, very good at, you have a goal, you know what you're supposed to do, go do it. We're not going to tell you how to do it unless you cross some lines that you're not supposed to. Also, Stalin's first. Are you kidding me? He killed like 3 times the number that Hitler did.
Oh shit.
Just
okay.
saying.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, thanks for tuning in. Thank you for being here for another dose of taint, a dose of madness from your tainty boys in black from the Black Tower. We're super grateful that you've been here. We're super grateful that you have listened to us, and we hope that you've had fun, and we hope that you've been affected by the taint just a wee bit more than you were prior to this episode. Remember to go to blacktowerpod.com. Remember to go to facebook.com/rockpick to check out the Crystal Barista. And remember to go to thegreatblight.com and newcreationsbyjen.com. These are all websites that you really need to go to. I'm just saying.
Yep. And then
remember to use discount code BTP at w.gg.
And Dubby. Get your Dubby.
10% off. Get 10% off your decision to better your focus and energy throughout the day.
And
with no artificial colors.
Go to the feedback option on Adam and Eve and Manscaped and make sure that they know.
Oh my goodness. Yes. Okay. So thank you so much for being here, guys. No, in all seriousness, we love you. We love that you guys are here. We do what we do for 2 reasons. 1, because we love talking about the Wheel of Time, and 2, we love that you guys enjoy it. So if you enjoy it,
how do they do the infinity symbol from the finger heart? How do they do that?
I don't know.
There's like a way where you just like switch.
Leave a comment below to tell us what we missed about the Blue Ajah.
I figured it out.
Or what we loved most about the Blue Ajah. Subscribe to our YouTube channel because it's banging, and you get to see us rather than just listen to us. And I promise you, there's another show.
Everybody hear me.
And I do love the fact that the majority of our viewers on YouTube are actually already subscribed. That is awesome. Thank you guys.
See what's on the slab. I see you quiver with anticipation.
I didn't even hear any of that. Like, you blew out your mic for the most important
Sorry,
part.
my bad. Might have to edit that part out. Sorry,
I
guys.
got it.
Okay, but anyway, thank you
I'm
for
gonna
being
edit,
here.
50 minutes of the episode out.
Facts. Welcome to the
Gonna be
shortest
intro,
episode
outro.
ever of the Black Tower podcast. That is until we cover the Black Ajah, which does not exist. From all of us here at the Black Tower, I have been your Sorovan Mahale, Mr. Josh.
And I have been your Bajan Mahale, Andrew.
And I have been so done with these two as your Amin Khan Mahale, Daniel. Actually, really done with this one. This one can stay. I like him. But this one, fucking but yeah, no, we love you. Thank you so much for joining in. We are the Black Tower Boys. Come back next week. We want to see you. We want to hear you. We want to see all of your wonderful live discussion comments. And from all of us here at the Black Tower, we hope that you are having a lovely morning. And in case we don't see you again, good afternoon, good evening, and good night.
Also come to Jordan Con and Walk On.
Both of them. Come to both of them.